everyone, this is Karla and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch but also other craft stuff and a little bit of life thrown in. If this is your first time joining us, then thank you so much for coming by my channel. And if you are a subscriber who is returning on a regular basis, then I appreciate you so much and thank you so much for coming. It is Sunday, November 10th, so we're like full on into November now, which is just crazy because we're really kind of close to the end of the year. There's so much stuff that happens, you know, we have Thanksgiving and then the holiday season and then we're into the new year, so it just blows my mind. You know, it's like they say, like, days, minutes, hours, days go by slowly, but time goes by fast, and I really feel like that's kind of true right now. So let's see, let me get into I think first I'll tell you a little bit life stuff. So you guys, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I recently came back from a trip to Arizona for a family bar mitzvah, and I spent a lot of time with my brother and sister-in-law and their 3 kids, and it was wonderful. And I think going on that trip kind of renewed some connections between us, which was really nice. And I got a call last week, I think on Wednesday, and it was my brother's number, but when I picked it up, it was my niece. And she was like, you know, little kids are on the phone. I mean, she's not that little, she's 9, but you know, kids are on the phone, they talk really fast, and they talk really loud, and they talk really high, and so she kind of like blurted something out. I'm like, what? And what she was saying is she wanted to know if I wanted to go to a cheer competition. And she didn't tell me the date. She just said, do you want to go to a cheer competition? I was like, what? Yes. What are you talking about? So she is a competitive cheerleader. She's on 2 teams this year. She's on for a little bit younger team and then a little bit older because she's really good. So she's, I don't know if I'm getting all the terms right, but she's a base on the younger team because she's bigger, because she's with kids that are more her own age and maybe a little bit younger. But then on the little bit older team, which is, I believe, a more advanced team in addition, she is a flyer because since she's one of the younger ones, she is small. So I think the flyer part makes my brother a little bit, you know, like, because, you know, they get thrown up in the air. But anyway, if you've ever seen the movie Bring It On, and like the big competition they go to in Florida, that is, you know, a cheerleading competition. So she is homeschooled, so she doesn't, you know, she's not doing it for a school or anything. She's actually doing it for a team. Yeah, I don't know much more about that. But anyway, so there is apparently a big cheer competition the first weekend in December in Ontario, which is just right, you know, Ontario, California, so it's very close. But since it's a 2-day thing, Stacy got a hotel room for her and Reagan, after the trip and everything, she asked her mom if they could invite me. And since there's, you know, 2 queen-size beds in the room and everything, they invited me, and I'm just like really excited. So I'm gonna get to go to a cheer competition on Saturday and Sunday, the first weekend in December. So I'm excited about that. And part of why I'm telling you is because it kind of goes into the crafty thing. So I was thinking about it, and I when we were talking about cheer and stuff on the trip, my brother had mentioned how he had, like, he never thought he would be like a cheer dad and have the cheer dad t-shirt and cheer dad hat and all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, that would be kind of cool to get like a cheer aunt shirt. So I asked my sister-in-law if that would be like an okay thing to do, because I don't want to step on any toes. And she said, no, that would be great. And she sent me links to like Amazon and stuff like that. And I looked on Amazon, I looked on a couple different sites, and I didn't see anything that I liked because, you know, they're generic, and they're, you know, there was like a couple that I really liked that said Cheer Mom, but then they didn't have the same style in Aunt. And the other thing is that I'm not, you know, a standard size person. I am a bigger woman. And I never wear like regular t-shirts because I feel really unattractive, and then they're just really boxy and they don't do anything for my body style. So I was looking at all these hold on just a second, I'm gonna move this down a bit. There you go. I feel like all you were seeing was just my head. So what I decided to do is I went onto one of the sites that I normally buy clothing on, and I got a white shirt and a black shirt on sale, and they were on sale. They were buy one get one, 75% off. So I got two t-shirts that are more fitted and that I know are gonna actually look decent on me. And then I went onto Amazon and I got glitter letters that iron on and stars. So I'm gonna make my own shirts. So I'll show you this when they're done. But I got these. These are silver. Now actually when I first bought them, they had them at this weird angle in the picture, and I thought that they were like black glitter, but they're actually silver. But these are kind of funky letters. And then I just got plain gold puffy letters. So I think I'm going to make, well, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put the gold on the black or the white. I'll have to see how it looks. But, and then I got multicolored iron-on stars. So I think I'll pick out, Stacey said her colors were yellow, black, white, and blue. So I might pick out those colors and put those, or I might put my multicolor, I don't know. But anyway, so I just got those. I haven't gotten the shirts yet, but I thought that was kind of going to be a fun project for me, and I was just going to take an iron, which I have. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to go to the thing. I'm excited to make the shirts for it and to get to spend more time with my niece and my sister-in-law. So that will be way fun. It's going to be after Thanksgiving, so there's going to be family stuff before that, but I am looking forward to that. Let's see, another thing that I purchased that has nothing to do with cross stitch. I have been going through a period where I am enjoying my hair. It's gotten really long. I have been coloring it kind of a fantasy color for about, well, almost 2 years, year and a half. And it's gotten really long. It's to the point where like purple and pink hair is just so normal in my mind. I don't even think about it anymore. But I have to say that this is like having fantasy color hair. I've gotten so many compliments just from strangers, just like, oh, I love your hair. That, you know, I feel like I made a good decision when I decided to do that. And I love it. I use overtone. If anybody's interested in hearing me tell you a little bit more about that, then let me know. I'm not here to do a commercial for overtone, but I do really like it as a product. Anyway, my hair's gotten really long, and so, you know, it's always a challenge in the morning to decide what to do with it, if, you know, and a lot of times I just wear it down, but I was getting to the point where I kind of wanted some hair bands to corral it a little bit. And of course, hair bands, I have to be careful because I do wear glasses at work. And, you know, if you get stuff that's like too pokey right here, it hurts. I end up with a headache. But I wanted to get some hair bands, and I found these on Amazon, and it was like, I believe it was somewhere between $9 and $12 because I was looking at different sets. But I got all of these hair bands. I got these, they're all silver and gold ones. So I have the one that I'm wearing today, and then this one. They're all so pretty. This one, this is kind of an offset one, which I don't know if I'm going to love that, but there's two star bands, one silver and one gold. Which I think I actually could wear them together too, if I wanted to. This is golden pearls. And because they're this flexible wire, they really don't seem, I was wearing this one yesterday for most of the day, and it, like when I first put it on, I could feel it, but then I got used to it and it didn't hurt me or give me a headache or anything. And then this one. This one. And you know, I know that they'll probably tarnish pretty quickly and everything, but for that price, I thought they were really nice. So if you have long hair or have kids that have long hair and just want a little bit of embellishment, I got these on Amazon. I just searched women's hair bands, and yeah, so I'm really happy with that purchase. But anyway, so that's enough for the life stuff. Let's get into cross stitch. I did a diagonal stitching demo this week as an extra, FlossTube extra. And if you've been watching for a while, you know I did one about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And in the uploading process, I was having trouble with my phone, and I was trying to clear out my phone to make room, and ended up deleting everything. So I was very frustrated with that. But I was able to sit down on Wednesday and you know, redo it. And I think it turned out pretty good, pretty informative. So if you have any interest in full coverage stitching or diagonal stitching or parking, because that's all the topics that it's about, then take a look at it. If you have any questions, please, you know, put them in the question comment section, and I'll definitely answer it. If there's anything that you would like to know more in depth, or you think that it would be helpful to have another video, then let me know that as well. I will be starting a full coverage. Hey, I keep saying, I said that like I don't already do full coverage. I'm going to be starting a full size full coverage Hilde in January, but I'm going to be doing it on with 10 stitch. So I might go ahead and do a demo, kind of a stitch with me of that one, just so you guys can see it. I don't know, would any of you guys be interested in seeing it like right as I started, like that very first stitch section? I mean, it's not going to be that exciting to see, but it might be interesting to see kind of how I have set it up and everything. I'm planning on doing it on midnight on New Year's Eve. So that might be kind of fun to do a Happy New Year video and show you guys the beginning of the Village bookstore. So let me know what you think. Let's see. I have on my show notes here, show new dyed fabric, because I was planning on doing a bunch of stuff yesterday. Did nothing. Well, I stitched a little bit. I slept to almost noon yesterday, which I very, very, very rarely do. I was planning on sleeping in. I had given myself that, oh, I'm gonna sleep in, but I mean, my alarm went off at 7:30 as it normally does, and I turned it off, fed the cat, you know, whatever, went back to bed, and I slept till it was after 11:30. I don't know. I told my mom, and my mom's answer to that kind of thing is always like, if you did that, maybe your body needed it. So I tend to think that she's right, that maybe I just needed to decompress a little bit. But when I got up, I had all kinds of plans yesterday to straighten my apartment, and I did nothing. I just sat around and stitched and watched TV because I just didn't feel like doing anything. So I did have plans to do some fabric dyeing. I've got several new colors of Rit dye. I got some darker ones just to try out. And I was going to do some dyeing yesterday. I also need to dye the piece of fabric for Virginia because she did get in touch with me. So her fabric still needs to be dyed so I can mail it to her. Didn't do anything. So I'll be doing that today. Let's see what else. Other interesting. For those of you, I don't have anything to show you because I don't have any Prairie Moon patterns. I've talked about them, all the Crip Club patterns and stuff, that I covet them. And I have, you know, a search on eBay and everything, but they are like ridiculously expensive because they are out of print. However, you may have heard this from other floss tubers because I know more than I'm not the first person to hear about it. In fact, I heard about it from Erin, the 2 Martini Stitcher. And she talked about it in her floss tube this week, but they're back. They have a website, which is prairiemoonneedlework.com. And they're hard, you can't do a Google search. You actually have to type that in. So prairiemoonneedlework.com. And yeah, so they're back, and they have all the Crip Club patterns are all up there. They're PDF patterns, and they're kind of expensive. They're like $28 for a PDF. That's kind of ridiculous, but it's better than like 40, 60, 80, 120 that I see the patterns on eBay for. So I might, if I get any like bonus money at the holidays this year, I might get myself one or two, because I do covet those. But I have to say that the chart that I made that I showed you guys with all of my the charts I have listed on it has kind of kept me content and kept me from wanting to purchase a bunch more. So it's doing its job in that way. Okay, I think that's all of the chit-chatty stuff, and we can get into actual work and whips and new starts and everything. I did have a new start this week. I put away, I'm using my fluffy cat bag for this one. I keep talking about how I had more project bags cut out and everything like that, and I think I'm going to be sewing them probably Thanksgiving weekend, because I found that extra day to turn that into sewing day, that's like good for me, and it helps me to get my mind wrapped around it, because as far as sewing goes, I get anxious to do it, but then when I'm doing it, I enjoy it, but I'm not a seamstress, and so it's something I have to work myself up to doing, and then I can do it in like chunks. But yeah, so I have like 4 bags that are already cut, and the interfacing and everything's all ironed, and then I have some more fabric, so hopefully over Thanksgiving weekend I'll be able to churn out some more. But anyway, I did have my Glend in Place in this bag, and I did put the Glend in Place away for a little bit, because since Halloween's over, I think that's gonna kind of go into hibernation until like spring, and then I'll bring it out so that I can maybe get it done before next Halloween. But I felt the need for a new start for November, so I decided to go ahead and start Spring Fling. From With Thy Needle and Thread, and I'm stitching this on. This is a piece of fabric I got off of eBay. It's a 25 count Lugana in hibiscus, and oops. So there's my start. The first flower, and this stem, I stitched the entire thing and then realized I stitched it in the wrong color. I stitched it in this green instead of this tanny color. I am not using the called for threads. I'm doing what I typically do when it's, you know, overdyes that I don't have, is I pull up the colors on my computer, my phone. This is Weeks, Gentle Arts, and Classic ColorWorks. And I have a few Gentle Arts, but they're all, you know, being used in a project. So I don't have any that are just kind of sitting in stash. I have a few, but nothing that was called for. But I went and I looked up all the colors, and then I pulled them from my Needle Neccessities, which is ThreadWorx, and my Queen City Dyers, which are so kind of no-name overdyes. And I picked colors that were similar. And so the rabbit, I'm using a color that's not, I don't even know if you can see it yet. It's right there. It's not quite, like, it's not a bright white or anything, but I think that I'm going to like it, because, you know, to me, this is a spring bunny. It's not like an Easter bunny or anything like that, so it doesn't have to be super bright white, but this is the color that I'm using. And it's actually looking even more, like, creamy, whatever, in the camera. It's a little bit lighter than it seems to be showing in here. But for the most part, I got colors that I think, you know, go pretty well with what the called for was. And the other thing is like when you look them up online, and I know a lot of people have talked about this with certain colors, the color that you get when you order these things, I mean, because I'm not getting them from a shop, I'm ordering them online when I order. It may not be the color really that was used in the model either, because overdyes can change. So I know people have talked about that like they got something that was really, let's say that the model stitch was kind of like a beigey green, and then they get one that's super green, you know. So I feel like even when you are using the called for colors, you're not always going to get exactly what the model stitch looked like. So if that's the case, then why not use the ones that I have? That's, you know, it's more my system. So that was my new start for this year. Okay, so whips, I did work a tiny bit on my 2 Heaven Earth designs. I'm not going to pull them out and show you because I did like basically a row in one and 2 rows in another, and you can see them if you watch that video, because I do show them at the beginning. But one thing that I want to tell you guys, so I'm kind of excited about this. I really love the idea of SALs and the idea of having like a hashtag that you can, like if you take a picture of your project and post it on Instagram, which is really what the SALs are for, right? Is you post pictures and then you can put a tag on them so that it's easier for other people to see your progress. And I love that idea, and that's why when I've started projects that are important to me, I've tried to like kind of make a SAL to go along with them so that maybe other people can stitch along with me. And as I said, I'm starting a new start at the new year. And I'm not sure if that is a tag that we should, you know, new year, new start, whatever. I know that like Nicole from Bendy Design Studios is going to be doing that with me. Crafty and Bev, she said she might start something in the new year with me. So there's lots of people that have mentioned like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna start one on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve or whatever too. So there's that kind of, you know, in solidarity we're doing that. But the other thing is I had somebody contact me. Her name is Jennifer, and she's from Wisconsin. I don't want to say her last name because I don't know if she would be happy with that. But she sent me an email, and when I was talking about doing my heids, and she has a pattern called Cat Crazy Chloe. It's a haid that she's going to be starting. It's really cute. It's like one of those girls with the really big eyes. I don't know if it's a Beckett, but it's a similar style, and with a cat. And she's going to start that one. She's like, did I want to sell it with her? And, you know, I was honest with her. It's like I have so many patterns already, and the heids that I have I'm already in love with, and I didn't want to add another one in there. But I was like, you know, in my opinion, a sale doesn't have to be everybody working on the same project. I think it can be everybody working on the same theme or for the same reason. So what we kind of decided to do with a couple back and forth emails is that we're creating a tag that is going to be called, so hashtag Love Haid Cats Sal. So basically, if you're doing any haid project, full coverage project, I guess it really doesn't have to be just a haid, but we're going to put that in the tag, that has cats in it. Then when you take pictures to post on Instagram of that full coverage that has cats as a theme or cats in it or whatever, then you can use that tag so that we're all going to sell these haids. Now, all of my haids have cats. I have the fairy and cats and a bunch of fairy and cat ones that I'm going to start. I have Lavender Roses, which is the close-up of the cat. And then I have its companion piece, which I haven't started yet, Tuxedo Eyes. And even my full size one that I'm starting in January, which is Randall Spangler's Village Bookstore, I'm starting that one as opposed to the Rose Trellis Inn, which is this other pattern that I really like and have. But I'm starting Village Bookstore because of all the cats, because there's 15 cats in it, hidden throughout, you know, not hidden like a hidden puzzle, but hidden as in they're everywhere in the windows and everything. There's 15 of them, or 14, because one of them may be a squirrel, a really huge squirrel. But anyway, I got a screen time report. Okay. But anyway, so it's going to be, and I'll post it below, but hashtag Love Hade Cat Sal. So please join in on that. I haven't posted anything to it yet because I hadn't announced it, but I think I might take pictures of my Hades today and put them in as a progress report and use that hashtag for the first time. So join in with Jennifer from Wisconsin and me with that one, and that'll be fun. So we'll be able to see all the Hade progress and everything, and I think that will be, you know, fun for all us cross stitch and full coverage cross stitch cat lover people. I have a feeling there's several of us out there. I have to say, I talk about being cat lady, and I love dogs too. You guys know there's my baby who passed away last year, and I still miss him. But there's something about cats. There's something about just the fact that they, you know, they're our pets, but we don't, I mean, they make us feel privileged to, you know, have them in our lives. There's just something about cats. Dogs are much more people-like, I think, and cats are cats. They're not people-like at all. They're definitely gracing us with their presence when they're in our lives. But okay, so back to the whips. Okay, I just put this away without actually putting the stitching in the bag. That was smart. Okay. Okay. I worked on my classic Pooh this week. And in actuality, what I did was frog all of the stitching that I had done on the Pooh Bear. So that was full of stitching. And in fact, you can still see there's a pin stitch that I couldn't pull out very easily, so I'm just gonna go over it. I'm showing you the back. Okay, there we go. And that took a long time to pull all that out. Because here's the thing. And I'm not trying to brag on my stitches or anything, but when you make neat stitches and when they're smaller stitches, this is the 16 count, which isn't that small, but still, then they're harder and harder to pull out. But I had talked about it last week that I was discontent with the color that I had chosen for the Pooh Bear. So what I was using was this one, which is really pretty, but it has these really, really like neon-y yellow sections in the variegated. And it was almost like it was too variegated. I didn't realize, I'm not super experienced yet with variegation in floss, so I didn't realize that when I was stitching such a big piece, just how intense that variegation would be. And you can kind of see it up against my black shirt. It just had these sections that were just so neon. And so I was like wanting to find something that was a little bit more subtle, still variegated. And what I realized when I was doing, I was working on In This House, which is the project for my brother, there is a color in there that works perfectly. And so I finished with that color anyway. So it's this one with very subtle variegation, like you almost can't see it, but then when you stitch on a big block, you can. So this is also a Needle Necessities 118, and I think this color is going to be a lot better. It's maybe not as exciting to stitch with because it doesn't have that kind of variegation, but I think that overall the piece is going to look way better. So now these are the three colors. It's just black and this blue, which is kind of the same. It's very subtle variegation, and then this is the Pooh color, the Winnie the Pooh color. So I haven't actually started with that yet because it took me like an evening and a half to frog out all those stitches. That was not the funnest, but I think it needed to be done. And I'm glad that I decided to do it before I got too far into him. And, you know, I don't want to have a big thing done and be unhappy with it. So I think that was a good choice. So this went backwards a little bit instead of forwards, but that's where I am. So I did a bit of frogging this week because I had to frog that in the Pooh, and then like I said on the spring fling, I did that whole stem and realized it was in the wrong color. That was annoying. And I worked a little bit in this house. I really have to buckle down this week and work on this because, you know, I have given myself that deadline of Thanksgiving. So I did more in the orange. This was this brown is actually the color that I stole for the classic Pooh project. And I just left one strand because I just have to finish before. So I'm almost finished with the E there, so you know, just the rest of before. And then, I don't think I did anything else on this color, but I did do more on the bright orange. And I started on this icon down here, which is the Hunger Games one. Oh, and I put in the first little bit of the next color. I'm anxious to get this one done. I think it's going to be really pretty, and I'm kind of at that point though where, you know how like the beginning of a project it's really fun, and at the very, very end of the project when you've got the end in sight, it's great. I'm kind of at that like point where it's a little bit more of a slog, just because I'm not close enough to the ends, but I've been working on it for a while, so it's not, you know, as exciting. But I really have to work on this. So I'm going to probably work on this today and try and get as much done as I can. And then, you know, definitely have to use that as a focus next week. Okay, so my last whip that I worked on this week was my Froth and Bubble, Long Dog Sal, Long Dog Sampler. And I feel kind of like I got a finish. Because I finished the top section, which is like the tiniest section of this whole pattern, but I finished it, except for this little bit right here. But it's so pretty, and it's just, you know, my camera and the lighting and stuff just does not do it the justice that it deserves. But I love how it's got the alternating stitches here. They kind of tricks your eye because it just changes the color, but it's actually alternating with a green and a blue. Yeah, so that's this top row. And I've got a little bit of the word started, and then I'm going to be working in this butterfly section. So, yeah, this is a big, long project. I don't know, it doesn't feel like a big, long project when you start it, but, you know, it's not full coverage, but, you know, it's a big, long project. But I'm enjoying that one. And that is, I'm stitching this in honor of my best friend's parents, who both passed away in 2019. And so it makes me feel good to stitch on it because it makes me think about her and think about her wonderful parents, and yeah. And speaking of my friend Tracy, who you guys have all heard about, she got a little bit more fabric for me and mailed it to me, and I ended up getting an empty envelope. Like, I knew she was sending something, so when I got this envelope in the mail, I was like, oh, I got the thing from Tracy. And then I picked it up, and I'm like, boy, this, this fabric, she got it in here really flat because she sent it in like a big white envelope. And then I realized there were red stamps all over it that said, received without contents. And yeah, it was just an open envelope, an open, empty, big white envelope, the big size. So I texted her and I'm like, look what I got in the mail. So, and she was like, oh my God. She goes, it was totally sealed. And, she said there was just like 2 pieces of fabric in it that she got at the Creative Reuse store. But of course she was annoyed with that. I mean, who wouldn't be? But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. And I think it was just kind of weird that, why did the post office send it on empty? That doesn't make sense to me. But, okay. So that is all of my whips for this week. And, okay. Yeah. So plans for the rest of the month, in this house is a big one, and then work on the whips that I've showed you. I do want to work on the social butterfly one for my stepdaughter. I also have plans I have a design in mind. So I'm not going to be able to show that to you or talk to you about it because I think it's something that I want to submit to the Just Cross Stitch ornament contest, whatever that they have, which I guess the call for that will be in January or February. I was watching Amanda May of Art of Designs, and she was talking about it because she actually won that this year, and her design was in their magazine, which, I don't normally get any of the ornament type issues because, it's not something that I celebrate or stitch. But she mentioned something about that the call is going to come out in January or February. And I had actually already written to Just Cross Stitch to find out what you do when, if you have a design idea to submit. So I got a letter back from them, and they said that, they put me on a list to get the call, when they call for designers or whatever. So I'm on the list to get that email. So I do have an idea. It's actually for kind of like a Hanukkah ornament, but then I can also adapt it into some like a Christmas ornament also. So yeah, so I do. Not that Hanukkah has ornaments like to hang from a tree. I just meant like decoration to hang from wherever because it's that time of year. But anyway, so I have an idea in my mind which I think might be pretty unique and cute and people might like. So we'll see what happens when it gets to that point, but that might be something that I'm going to start working on and not be able to show you guys. Okay, so let's see. The last few things are haul and Stitchy Kindness. I don't really have any haul that I purchased except for this one thing. And speaking of Amanda May Art of Designs, this is an Art of Designs book. My Stitchy friends, I was realizing that I am starting to kind of collect people and their addresses and their emails and stuff like that of friends, Stitchy friends that I've met through the FlossTube community. So people that I may not have met, although I did meet Dawn in Arizona. But I want to put those people, have a place to put them so I know who I know. Because it does get a little bit confusing with everybody, like I have a different Instagram name and FlossTube name and my real name, and they're all different, right? So that can be confusing when you have several people like that. And then, if there's people that have sent me something, I want to record their address so that I can, reciprocate, or if I'm just in the mood to send out something to somebody that I keep their address to do it. So, so this is Amanda May's book, and it's geared specifically towards, the stitching community, and so, I just really liked it. It's an address book for my needlework friends and social media contacts by Art Designs, and I got this on Amazon. So, okay, and then the other thing that I have to show you guys, which is just amazing, is I got a message, and I can't remember if it was on Instagram or she sent me an email or whatever, but from, where is it? Cindy, I don't think I wrote it down. She's ThreadWorx Stitcher, ThreadWorx Cindy on Instagram, ThreadWorx Stitcher on FlossTube. I don't think she has a FlossTube, she just has that as a handle. But she sent me a message and asked for my address because she said, oh, I have a couple things to send you. So I got this huge bag. And she sent me like so much stuff. It's just like so, and I was just floored. I was just really, really floored by the kindness of people. And, you know, I aspire to be that thoughtful to people. Sometimes I can, and sometimes, you know, I can't. But she sent me a really pretty little note, very, very sweet. And she just said that she wanted to send, that she enjoys my FlossTube and that she wanted to kind of send me a token of appreciation. So this is a big token. She sent me 2 just cross stitch Halloween collector's edition magazines. So she sent me the 2013 and 2012. Oh my god, you guys, I mean, I just started stitching, right? So I got this year's and loved it, and then I was thinking, oh, I should go get back issues. There's so many patterns in these that I love. You know, I could do Halloween stitching for probably 10 years out of these 2 magazines. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that's just adorable. I'm looking to see if they have one of those back pages, which they don't, but oh well. But this gives you some of the ideas. So 2012 and 2013. Look at this down here, this cat. Yeah, so I mean, I love them. I was just looking through them at work and I was like, oh my god, I like this one and I like this one and I like this one. So she gave me those. She gave me this little pattern from District 13. It's a snapper. So it's called The Owl Next Door. And then this little bat, the middle of him is a snap, which is in here. So that one's really cute too. Then she sent me, this is a piece of mono canvas for needlepoint, which is really good because I have some needlepoint things I want to do as well. So that's great. Then she sent me some fibers. So this is called Funky Fibers. So this is like stuff, I guess, it would be really cool to use for finishing. They're really pretty. I like this. But there's 6 different things that are wrapped on this card. And then she sent me 2 6-strand sweets, which I know these are, I don't think these are being made anymore. So that's kind of cool to get. And then she sent me 2 little skeins of silk. So there's kind of a, this has got like kind of yellowy, orangey, pinky color variegated. And this one is kind of got blue, but it's a very slight variegation in this like blue color. Both of these are just so pretty. And I just ordered from eBay. I got a little, you know me, I find these little eBay lots, you know, when they're a good price. So I found one for like, you know, under $10, free shipping, of like 8 silk skeins like that. So I should be able to show you those next week. I should get them. And then she sent me some fabric. This is a 16 count piece. And then this, this doesn't have any label. I think it's probably 14 count, but maybe 16 count. I'll have to measure it. But I mean, this piece of fabric is huge. Huge. So that is really great. So there's lots of dyeing possibilities and stuff in here. And I mean, this package was just amazing. So thank you so much, Cindy. Your kindness is just amazing, overwhelming, unexpected. It was like, and I got that the same day that I didn't get the fabric from Tracy, so it made up for that disappointment. But anyway, I think that's about it for me today, you guys. So I will have all my descriptions below like I normally do. Think about joining in on the sales with the Love Hade Cat Sal, Long Dog Sampler Sal, or Long Dog Sal. Keep in mind, coming up in February, so it's not that far off, I'm going to be doing Gathering Honey, and we're going to sell that. It's kind of an empowerment thing for myself, and maybe rebelling against all of the love and Valentine's stuff that's out and makes single people feel ultra single. So that's going to be hashtag BEE, because it is the Gathering Honey. Be my own Valentine Sal. And even if you are coupled up, you can still and should still be your own Valentine. So it's kind of like a twofold. It's that, and then it's stitching on something that has to do with bees and honey and the whole bee thing, because we need to save the bees. Be aware of the bees, because without the bees, we have no food. So anyway, so join in with all of those sales. Let me know what your stitching plans are. Are you going to start something new for the new year? Are you starting to do holiday stitching? That's not something that is my jam, so I don't have to worry about that, except that I'm going to start thinking about doing this design thing. But anyway, so I hope you guys all have a really great stitchy week and enjoy getting into November and starting to think about what you're going to cook for Thanksgiving. I'm in charge of the pies, so I've got my brain working. I have to make one that's gluten-free and dairy-free, which I found a recipe for. And then I'm going to make a regular one, and then I'm going to make something that's not pumpkin. I'm thinking maybe chocolate peanut butter or fruit. I don't know. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week, and always remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Karla. Have a great week, you guys.